Hey everybody, welcome back to AC Auto Carts. Hey, meet my 88 EZGO that I bought last year for spare parts. I stole the rear end out of this, I stole the steering column out of this, and I got a couple other little miscellaneous pieces that we're going to be taken out of it for the rat rod build that we're doing. But I'm going to have this whole chassis left over. So I was either going to throw it out or let's turn it into something. I've been using a utility trailer on Halloween to cart people around with Ron Burgundy. So let's see if I can cut the nose off of this and make an adequate people hauler out of it. I got some plans. I'll share them with you as we go. Let's get started. Let me start by walking around what's here, or what I'm going to use yet. There's actually a little plastic compartment in this one that I don't have in the other one, so I'm going to try and save on that. We can save this for spare parts if I mess up the one that I want to build. This is just all a bunch of garbage that I've been pulling out from the old 36-volt system. Inside here, I actually cleared it out the other day, but I am not doing another rotted rebuild right on top of another rotted rebuild. But this is the rear end that was in the 83 rat rod that we're building. I have a couple of videos on this rear end. I got it back in this cart the other day. Ooh, a socket. I didn't realize that was stuck in there. But anyway, transferred it with the leaf springs because these U-bolts are so rotted that they were not going to turn out. So I didn't feel like spending a bunch of money on some extra U-bolts for it. So we just stuck it in here with these springs that are here, and that's fine. It has a rear seat, but Bluetooth back cushion. So we'll have to build one of these. I want to straighten this out. We're going to take the roof off of it. I might use this roof for another project. It's got this big windshield that maybe we cut in half and put a half windshield on the rat rod we're building. The nose of this is pretty well rotted, so I really don't feel bad cutting that off. And I'm going to have to rebuild this seat, obviously. Not a lot left of that either. Hopefully it's got a good corner over there that we can trace. But that's what we're working with. Just going to cover this up. I'm not going to weld in new stuff here because I'm not putting anything of any significant weight in here. I think I'm just going to cover this up with wood. These are some Rock's wheel covers that Mike bought for Old Blue that's been on the channel when he first got it. They sent us 3 of them. So we called them and we're like, hey, we need a 4th. And they were like, yeah, we don't make those anymore. But I really like this style. I'm only going to have 2 wheels back here. So I will use these for that. I'm going to use those wheels though. These were the ones that came on the rat rod. Yeah, so that's the overview here. So we're going to take the top off first. This top is only held on by these 2 little sheetrock screws or self-tappers or whatever these are. They're not bolted into the seats or nothing. So this top should be easy enough to get off. Obviously the paint is coming off of that. We will save these uprights, and I'm going to save this glass. I'm going to save the roof. And there's going to be a couple of steering components that we'll save. Anything that we can use we'll save for another day. So current status of rat rod. I've been building on the bottom end of this. I can put my 2024 Go pedal in there. We've got a floor mostly done. I just need to do floor for the corners. I'm waiting on the air pump to show up for the air shocks. But this is the rear end that came out of that cart. Got the Navitas in there. We've got to wire that up yet, but it's all test fit. I'll be doing a video on this thing shortly, so make sure you like and subscribe. But we've got that in there. The steering column that came out of that cart is over here. This is ready to go, full unit. I just have to bolt it into the cart with that steering wheel that we've seen before on the channel, but that thing's all ready to rock. I've got some leftover wood from building this little bench that we'll put as a floor in that. And I'm going to use this leftover metal that I've got, because I don't have any other uses in mind at the moment. Well, this, no, but this is what we'll make the trailer neck out of. So that's what the plan is. I'd like to keep this as cost-friendly as possible. All right, so I'm going to get the roof off. We'll jack it up. I'll start pulling this front end out of it. And then, I don't know, get to hacking the nose off of it. I've seen some where they keep, some floorboard, but with this one kind of being two-tiered, I think I'm just going to hack it right off at the end. And if we want to build a footrest after, maybe we'll do that. All right, been about a half hour. Rust, so just chop those off. Drop the springs. There's the 3 bolts that hold those in. Drop those out. We got the windshield and the roof off, and the rear uprights. Those are going to sit back here for now. Those are definitely going in storage. So far, the other 2 pieces that I'll save is this front bumper, or I don't know, I guess it's just a cosmetic piece, and that front fascia. Save those just in case, because it's not broken, it's just peeling, and neither is this. And I'd like to be able to do something on this for when this is fully extended. There's a lot going on that you just look through, so I'll have 2 of those, so if I mess one up, I'll have a backup. Well, should have known better, right? And then these are broken off, so just got to get that out, and then we'll be able to pull this little plastic container out of there. I want to hang on to that. Again, I'll wash this out and keep it as a spare. How much is in there? Gross. It doesn't smell, so I don't think it's fresh. Oh, working on junk is fun. Well, I've created a mess. This floor is a little worse than I thought it would be. I got to cut this gas pedal out, or maybe unbolt it. Get this out, straighten this out, or cut it out. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a mask on and wire wheel some of this out. That way we got something to weld to. It looks really gross, but it's just paint, scaly. The amount of rust really got excessive. I mean, it's pretty bad, really. And this is another reason why we weren't going to build this cart. And I was going to throw it out. But, I mean, the rails aren't bad. The rails are actually in better shape than the other one. If you've been watching that rat cart build, I had to cut out this area here and replace. I don't think I have to do that here. This looks a little better. So the rails and such are okay. I think what we'll do, we'll make some sort of T. Probably run some stuff here to here. That center post out. And then we'll go, I don't know, maybe this corner out. And then we'll put put a diamond plate floor in this or something. I really wasn't planning on cutting that floor out, but there was not a lot left. It was broken in plenty of places. This floor was in worse shape than the other one for sure. So I'm glad we didn't build this, and cutting it in half is really no sacrifice. So it'll have half a life. But I think that's going to be it for today. Sunday, how long am I at? It's 4 o'clock on Sunday. We started at 11:30 this morning. So I'm going to clean up, get something to eat, watch the rest of Talladega, and call this a day. So we'll be back at it. See you shortly. So today's Thursday. I went running out at lunch to grab some things, but here's what my floor looks like. Not too bad. And then this I just picked up at a hardware store. We'll get that on there, bolt that in. I did pressure wash the inside of this, and I had that rust converter stuff, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to squirt all of this with Flex Seal. And really all I'm after is to make sure that we're not dropping chunks of rust as we go down the road. We'll cut this board out and make a floor out of that. But I really don't have an intention to put anything of any significant weight in here. When I ran out today, I got a piece for the floor. Well, the front floor of that floor. 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I'm going to cut that into several sections for seats, because we're going to make 2 seat bottoms for this. And then I need a seat bottom for the rat cart. It looks like this seat setup must have had wood floor here, wood floor this way, based on the anchors, and it just rotted away. So I might just do one and take all that out and then just bolt it in. I don't need a flip seat in this. One more thing. I did go out and grab thinner walled 2x2. That other one was super thick, super heavy. So I think this was 16. It's a little thinner. Same thing with those 2x1 that matches the frame here. I picked up another run of that. It was like $37 for 2 pieces, 2 4-foot pieces. So, and then this was just the leftover, so I used that because it was the leftover. Otherwise, I would have done a thinner. But anyway, that's what that's going to look like underneath that floorboard. Yeah, go ahead.
Please hold on. Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. That was a little freaky. Ooh, something's in my eye.
Alright, to the yard. Had it out last night. That was a successful test drive. I did end up spray bombing all this yesterday. I don't know how well it's going to stick, but we'll see. I think I rubbed that off, I guess, with the seat. Stayed on the other side though, but did the same to the underside, just spray bombed everything with either undercoat or Flex Seal. The other thing we went out and grabbed today, cooler. So this thing definitely needs a footrest. So we're going to put a footrest on it, and then we'll do something to mount the cooler right there. I am excited about my little cooler holder. That should hold some action. I wanted to put it up front there so that if somebody's sitting here, we're not constantly flipping over all the time. So put it there. Got my footrest done. I actually just used that same tubing. I squared this off. I put a cap on the end of that. That's all welded in. I spray bombed all this, so that part is done. So here's where we're at. I'm gonna get as much of the blue broken out and freed up as possible. I got the trim off. I'd like to take the rear seat off, take those pads off, so that we can spray paint this and not have tape lines everywhere. I just tried to get this off. This bolt is stripped. I don't know, I'm gonna fight with that. I'm probably gonna tape that off. I'm also debating what I feel like doing with this stuff. I really should just leave it, because I promised myself I was going to keep this budget and not go full restoration, but so we'll probably end up taping off. I'm going to get these back seats off. Again, this needs to come off. I just straightened this footrest out. I'm going to extend this so that we can tie that back in. It was driving me bananas that this was up, but that's because of this. So I just bent that back down. This is 3-inch foam for a seat. I have more on order. I actually ordered 5-inch. 3-inch is not, I don't think it's thick enough, especially when you consider what the factory does, right? So I have a roll of 5-inch coming. I'm going to do the back seat stuff in this. I think what I'm going to do, instead of doing 2 singles, I'm just going to replicate this one, and we'll do 2 of these. So that'll be even. Next up, here's the wheels we're going to run on it. These are those gray wheels that were in front. I did a little coloring with, where's my markers? So we'll see how that does. Holds up. I think that'll look cool going down the road. I mentioned a couple other things. I got a set of whip lights to install. We've got this huge speaker from Kemimoto I'm going to put on this. This is going to be the flooring, the tape-on flooring. We'll put that in the front, or in the back and the front. And then this is a boat trailer kit. It's got all of these little extra marker lights, which is why I went with that. Plenty of wire, and there's a big long one. And I guess, I don't know, maybe we'll put that here. I don't know. But this was only like $30 on Amazon, so I went with it. Also, this is the seat color. Again, cheap vinyl. It feels super plastic. It's been out of the box for a couple days, and man, it smelled at first, but this is what I'm going to do the seats in. So white body, tan seat. Well, you knew this was going to be rotted, so I'll be cutting a new piece for back here. It's only with the wood screws, which are also done. So we'll get some new hardware for that. That's off. Just made some seat pieces. Back seat bottom, old back seat, which, by the way, soaking wet. And I haven't had this cart in the rain since I've owned it. It's been under that cover, but this piece of wood is saturated. So there's 2 new ones, seat back front, seat back rear, whichever. And then that'll be the main cushion on the body, that back one there. So got my 4 seats cut out. So this is our fasteners. I got these kits on Amazon. This is stainless. These are just the wood fasteners. So these got rotted out, obviously. So we got some fresh stuff. Here's some fresh hinges. I got a piece of foam cut out. Again, this is the 3-incher. I test fit these earlier. Got them routed out. And I've got those things pulled through. So everything will fit. I just finished stapling up the first one. You know, it's not a fitted one. It's obviously just that cheap vinyl. But for cheap vinyl, that's fine. I'll figure out something to cover this end up. But when these are on, they're going to be right parallel with one another. So that's what we're up to. All right. So we've got that second rear seat cushion on. That stapler is really loud, and I'm underneath our bedrooms, and it's kind of late, so we're going to call it a day for today. But I got to keep jamming on this thing. Halloween is coming up, and I definitely want it ready for that. We're going to call this video 1. I started putting the video together because I started doing this about 10 days ago. This video's getting a little bit long, so we'll call this part 1. Part 2, we'll wrap it up. We're going to paint it. We'll get the flooring on. We'll get the seats finished. And then I'll do a part 3 where we move on to all the accessories that we have that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on that next one coming up super soon. See you later.